Bark, 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 bark. Ouch. Woo! What is up, #FURRYPACK, and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video is going to be a unboxing, setup, and review on a little capture card. My friend Manex wanted something to showcase some gameplay footage to me here and there, and I decided, hey, I'm going to take the opportunity to actually, do a little tutorial, I guess, or review something that my fans and audience could actually utilize if they want to get into YouTube or Twitch. So you get a USB cable, which is going to transfer your audio and video. And you get the actual capture card itself. So on one side, it's going to have an input and output for the HDMI cables, and the other side is obviously for the USB. And this thing goes about like 30 bucks or 40, around there, depends. You could get it on sale obviously on Amazon. The links will be in the description. And this is actually supposedly passes through 4K, which of course I did test it and it does. There's even a gameplay clip that I'll be adding at the end of the video as well for those to go ahead and watch. But in this next clip is showing you basically a quick setup. I hooked up my PS5 to it, so you're obviously going to put the output is going to be your TV or monitor to the output section, and then input is going to be your console to the capture card input section. And it'll be the same thing if you do it on PC. The next step is to get OBS. And this right here, what you're watching me do, is I'm doing a little quick test scene for OBS. I can obviously show you and teach you how to set up OBS real quickly and in a basic manner way. But basically, once you install OBS and it looks like this, you're gonna go into your file, gonna hit settings. If you're gonna be streaming, you're gonna always set up your streaming details here. So you go select YouTube, you select Twitch, you'll log in with your account or use your stream key. That's how you go ahead and set up basically where you're going to stream to. Now, in the next tab that I'm going to be showcasing is actually where you're going to be setting your encoder settings and your recording settings. Now right here, you want to actually switch the tab to advanced before you mess with anything, so you can actually see all the settings that you see in my screen. But once you do that, in the streaming tab, you'll basically select your encoder. Now what that is if you have a nice GPU that can handle all of your work for you, you'll actually select either the AMD or NVIDIA encoder. It will pop up what it is depending on your graphics card, but if you don't have a good GPU and you have a good CPU, then you can use the X264 encoder, which is your CPU. The next thing you want to go ahead and do is then select your preset. I like to keep it at YouTube streaming or Twitch streaming, one of the two. However, if you don't have any of those options, I recommend high quality as the next best thing. After that, it will be the regular preset, which I recommend you keep it at balance. There's no need to go with speed or quality unless you're having issues with your PC, then you can adjust it. But OBS is pretty good and not super demanding a lot of the times now. Now, for target bitrate, this is also another important thing you want to keep in note of. You want to do some speed tests to see what your average upload is. If you're averaging, let's say 20 megabits or higher, I recommend keeping it at like 6,000 for your target bitrate if you're going to be streaming to YouTube or Twitch and doing 1080p 60, because it's going to give you the best, crisp, clear, quality streams. And Twitch itself caps out at 6,000. I keep mine at 4500, which is just 500 megabits over the minimum for 1080p 60, or the recommended actually for 1080p 60. From there, you want to keep CBR enabled, or keep the CBR as the option, and you want to keep 2 for the interval thing. And just that's pretty much it of what you really need to do on your streaming tab. Once we get into the recording tab, we're going to go ahead and do some more adjustments. Rescale output you also don't want to touch unless you're going to be rescaling your stream to like 720 or P quality from 1080 or whatever resolution your base is. In the recording tab, you're going to do basically the same thing, except you're going to select where you're going to keep your saved footage recorded to. you're going to choose what kind of format you want to record. I recommend MP4. It's just the most universal, most well-known recording file format there is. You're going to have one audio track. That's all you really need. You're going to choose the same encoder as you do as your streaming encoder. From there, what is it? Again, you don't need to touch the rescale output unless you want to rescale your stuff. What is it? So let's say you have your bass at 1080 and you want to go to 720p for your recording, then you can choose that, but you don't really need to here. There will be a different tab where you can technically do it entirely for all. Now, bitrate is where it matters here. The most important is I prefer you keep it at 17,500. What is it? It's gonna go ahead and allow you to record, let's say, like 8 hours of footage and keep it to like 6 gigs. What is it? And it'll be really crisp, clear 1080p footage. The higher, the better the quality. The lower, it can start pixelating. I wouldn't recommend going anywhere below like 12 megabits per second, to be honest. And you want to pretty much just keep, high quality as the option, or YouTube or streaming as like your preset. You want to keep it at balanced and all that, kind of like what you did with your streaming. And you should be set on that recording tab. And then the next tab would actually end up being the audio tab. And in the audio tab, to give you a little recap on that before we click on it, it will pretty much be YouTube or Twitch when you're streaming. It will tell you, or even for uploading, it will recommend 128 kilobits per second. So that's what I recommend you keep all your audio to. Now the last tab that you pretty much need to mess with would actually end up being the video tab. And in this tab is where you're going to select your base resolution and then your preferred actual recording resolution or streaming resolution. So let's say your console is 4K, you'll select 4K, or your monitor, if you're on PC or something, is like, 1080p or 4K, you'll keep that at your base, right? And the output would actually be what your audience sees and what your finalized video and stream will be recorded to. So if you have a 4K monitor, and you're playing your game at 4K, but you want 1080p footage, then you're going to select your output to be 1080p. If you want 720p, then you'll put 720p. What is it? You'll also then adjust your frame rate there. So if you want 60 FPS, you'll put 60. If you want 30, then you'll put 30. For some reason, if you want like 10 or something, then you could lower it all the way down. And that's pretty much it. You don't have to mess with this last tab that I'm doing here on screen. That is just because I obviously have different, sources on my OBS that I need to adjust a setting so that I could actually record my test footage down the road. But now we're going to get into how to actually add your capture card into OBS. Now, once you have your basically all your settings set up for recording and streaming, you're going to now hit the little plus button for your source. I'm going to leave it at the default name, but you can change the name to whatever you want. And from here, you're going to actually look for the option called Mirrorbox. It turns out that the capture card is actually a rebrand of a Mirrorbox. So it's going to come up as Mirrorbox. From there, you don't want to touch anything. Just hit OK. If you need to size your capture card, you could size it through the corners and it will just snap in place to match the box of OBS. Mine already did it automatically for me, so I had no need to size it. Now from there, what is it? We have one step done. Now to add audio. Now for some reason, if yours gets frozen in place, just hit the deactivate and then reactivate button like I did, and then it will actually come back and start working. Sometimes OBS likes to go ahead and get a little freeze when you add a new capture device. Now, this doesn't actually capture audio immediately right away when you add in the video, so you actually have to add it in the audio source for the capture card. So in this rate, I like to mute the actual device and then lower down the slider. Now we're going to hit the plus button. We're going to hit audio input capture. It should be the very first one. I'm going to keep it default name. You can name it to whatever you want. And you're going to select the Mirrorbox audio option. From there, once that is added, when I go ahead and move my console, you should be able to see that the audio player is moving and it's working solid. Now, you're pretty much ready to go ahead and record from there. You can hit the recording on OBS, start recording all your footage, and you're good to go. If you want to add things like images, you just hit the plus button, go to images, slideshow, all that kind of crazy jazz. Yeah, obviously you can watch more tutorial videos on how to do that. I might even make some down the road, but that's really it on setting up your Mirrorbox capture card, because that's literally what this is. It's actually a Mirrorbox but rebranded, but I found this one at a cheaper price than I guess the original Mirrorbox, but yet again it's hard to know which one is the original. So the rest of this video will end up actually being what is it, just gameplay footage on the brand new Call of Duty game Cold War. So enjoy that, and let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like. Hope you now have a reason why to pick up a capture card if you want to, you know, do some YouTube or stream or something like that. And hopefully this will not break the bank, because in my opinion, to what I recorded, it was actually really good. But peace out, see you in another video or stream. Dogs out, bark bark, bow wow, rawr XD.
Eliminate all targets. New intel, ready for report. Show me who needs killing. Marking hostile location. Glide bomb, ready for target. New intel, ready for report.